Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to another car conversation, but I'm not in the car. The weather is nasty here in LA, and I just really could not put off again talking about this topic. I know I've been MIA for a while. The last time that I believe I posted, well, maybe there was another one after it, a car conversation. I talked about grief. And so, yeah, there's been a lot going on top of being busy and just trying to do life. But I really wanted to talk about, this attack on women, um, specifically in America, but not only in America. I do want to point that out, but specifically in America, I want to talk about this. So here this week in Arizona, there was a drastic rollback in women's freedoms, women's bodily autonomy, uh, because state representatives in Arizona enacted a law that was actually put on the books, was actually signed into law in 1864. 1864. This is like 1864 is when, in my field in psychology, they were still using bloodletting as like a remedy or a seen cure for mental health. Cutting and just letting a person bleed out. That's how old this law is. So Arizona has reverted back to a law that was written in 1864 to use in regards to basically controlling women's bodies, controlling what women can do with their own bodies. So I have a question for you. This is my question. Are we not human? Are women not human, capable humans that are intelligent enough, are experienced enough, wise enough to make decisions about our own bodies? Because that's basically what a certain group in this country is trying to tell us that we are not, by taking all of our freedoms away. Whether you're talking about women's access to education, women's access to career opportunities, jobs, income, all of it, they're also trying to control what we can do with our physical bodies, the decision we can make about our bodies. And it's not just Arizona. The state where I was raised in Texas, look at Texas law. In Texas, you can actually get or earn a $10,000 bounty if you turn in a woman who has had an abortion. There are states who do not have exceptions for incest or rape. And I believe Texas is one of them as well. So I want you to look at, I cannot remember the exact number, so I don't want to give you bad information, but look at the number of women who have been impregnated since Texas implemented their abortion laws. I want you to look at the numbers in regards to how many women that have been victims of rape and incest that were impregnated since this law went in effect in Texas. But back to Arizona. So what you're going to hear is a lot of Republicans backpedaling because they know how it's going to impact them in November. We cannot allow them to do that. We cannot allow them to temporarily change the narrative in order to get into office and then turn around and say, oh, I didn't mean that. I didn't say that. I was never for that. Because that's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. If you think about, go back to when Kavanaugh, all the previous four confirmation hearings for the Supreme Court outside of Ketanji Brown Jackson, the four prior to her, go back and look at their testimony in regards to abortion and how that is set law. I would never touch it. You know, they never said they would never touch it. What they said was that is set law. It's been on the books for 50 years, but they never said they wouldn't touch it. Never said that. Coney Barrett, go back and look at what they said. And then look at what's happening now. So we cannot sit back and believe that, oh, they just all of a sudden have changed their minds. They've taken Roe away from us. And then they've all of a sudden conveniently changed their minds until after November, and then they'll be back to the same thing. So each and every day in this country, there are groups of people. I want you to also look at Project 2025. It's out there. It's in the ethers. It's on the internet. I want you to look at the things that they put in writing, that they want to roll back. Just trying to roll back the hands of time in this country. I want you to take a look at the Heritage Foundation. That is a group that's behind and funding and fueling all of this, trying to drag us back into the past. I also want to touch on the fact that I was having a conversation with someone recently, a woman, who is actually, very dear to me. I was shocked by the comments, but maybe there wasn't much forethought prior to her making the statement. But she made the statement. She said, I'm just tired of hearing about abortion in regards to the election. I'm just tired of hearing about it. Now, yes, she is well beyond her birthing years. But what I would like to say is that it's not just about us. It's not just about you as an individual. And we can never get tired. When people are trying to take away your freedoms, your rights to live your life the way that you want to, you can never tire. You can take a break. You can have a self-care day, but you can never get tired because they're banking on us getting tired. They're banking on us not wanting to talk about it anymore. They're banking on you believing the narrative that they just spoon feed to you every single day. I watched a news segment earlier this morning, and it was Governor Sununu, and please watch it. It was on ABC. George Stephanopoulos, his show that he has on ABC every Sunday morning, right? And so he was interviewing the governor, and the governor kept repeating this one phrase. He kept saying, cultural change. That he wanted to see this cultural change. And so George Stephanopoulos was asking him, like, in the face of everything that 45 has done, in the face of January 6th, in the face of, having classified documents down at Mar-a-Lago, in the face of the sexual assaults of women, in the face of this hush money payment, election interference, like in the face of all of that, you as a governor are still comfortable in voting for this individual. And his response was, yes, because I want to see a cultural change. And here's what I need you to understand. The cultural change that he's speaking of is not just Republicans in office. There are Republicans, there are conservative people that are not trying to take anyone's rights away. There are conservatives that are, they're all about the capitalism, the economy, all that. They are not trying to take your personal freedoms away. They want everybody to be able to vote equally and have equal opportunity to the voting ballot. Like, there are two different sets of Republicans that we're dealing with right now. You have your traditional conservatives and you have extremists right now. And the cultural change they are speaking of is where white, male, cisgender, heterosexual, Christian males run everything. They want a Gilead, basically. For those of you that have watched The Handmaid's Tale, if you haven't, please watch it. That's what they want. That's the goal. Look at Project 2025. That is the goal. So when you hear this narrative of cultural change in regards to women, it is when women were just barefoot in the kitchen and silent, not in any leadership positions, not expressing their opinions, not deciding when or if they want to have children, not having careers of their own, not having the knowledge and the wherewithal to think for themselves. They want to go back to that time when we had to have men sign for credit cards, for house, car. We had to have permission to actually do anything in our lives. That's the cultural change. And also, they don't want any Black or brown people to have any advancement. They don't want anybody that's Black or brown coming into this country. They don't want anybody from the LGBTQI to, be able to express themselves freely or work alongside them or even be seen fully and organically as they are. That's what that cultural change that Governor Sununu was talking about on national television this morning. That's what that means. So here's what I want to say to you. Women, you better wake up. We have to wake up not only for ourselves, but for our daughters, for our future grandchildren and our granddaughters and our future great-great-granddaughters. Like, we have to wake up and do this work for the future. Because if all of our rights, all of our freedoms are stripped away and time is rolled back, what are you going to tell your grandchildren when they come to you and they're reading, oh, wow, women were able to do this? There were women astronauts. There were women female scientists. There was a female vice president. What happened? They're going to be asking you what happened. And this is not only about women and anyone else who loves and respects us, respects women enough to know that we are equal human beings, just like any man walking the face of this earth. Let me tell you, your genitalia does not make you a good leader. There are leaders and followers, and I'm gonna do a whole other episode on that, because that has gotten lost and convoluted, and we got a lot of followers in positions of leadership, and that's what the fuck is wrong. Okay, part of what's wrong. But I'm gonna have a whole different conversation about that. But my point is, just because you were born with a certain genitalia does not make you a good leader. If you pay attention to a lot of the lawmakers that we have today, a lot of them are just following the narrative that they are being fed. They don't have an original thought that they are expressing about anything. Last week, the House spent talking about appliances when the world is literally on fire and nobody spoke up and said, hey, maybe we have some more important things that we should be talking about right now. Not one person, not one person. So listen, I'm going to try to do more in this vein because it's been becoming more difficult for me to get the car conversations in, like actually be out in the car. Maybe when it warms up and is consistently warm, I'll do better about that. But I just had to have this conversation. And I just have to say, women, we have got to wake up. We have got to push back. We have got to fight. We outnumber them. There's no reason we should lose this when we outnumber them. And you know, between you and I, women, we run this stuff anyway. So there's no reason why we can't come together. We can't be successful and continue to move humanity forward. And men and anyone who loves women, respects women, sees us as equals, sees us as human beings with our own minds, with our own opinions, with our own ideas, with our own thoughts about what we want to do with our lives, with our future, and with our bodies. Please get on board with this because we cannot get tired. We cannot grow weary. We have to fight not only for ourselves, but for the future. Thank you.